Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. This is kind of ready or not. Here we go. Thank you for being here. Grace, PG, Nathan. Yeah, I just really feeling a little pressure to be on here right now. So let's just see what we got. We got a lot to unpack. A lot of interesting things, a lot of like I'm going to take the comments away because I'm going to get unfocused. A triple boop, a triple boop. Oh, golly. Thank God for boops. What a seriously interesting energy that's like blasting our beautiful planet. I just want to try and get our blessed Atlas. Ta-da! Sorry, I'm just trying to catch my breath, catch my eyesight. I've got wrong glasses. I can see anything, which is fine. Okay. Okay, let's center and breathe. Oh no, and you see, I'm definitely like very like afraid. I'm afraid not right now. I'm afraid around the edges that we're still here, and I have to just find a lighter. Come on, baby, light my fire. Time to set the world on fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. And I want to cry with I don't know what, joy, ecstasy, something fabulous. And how PG's the boop. He doesn't have to forget to. He's got it. It's very heavy. So let's just like bring in some lineage of Shiva. Because it always makes me feel safe. And blessed Ganesha, just to hold the space and the fire, which is the sun and the blessed water, and of course the incredible air we breathe. So we welcome you with this amazing, beautiful aroma to heaven and around us, and just to clear the energies and center the energies. And what is it? Pour oil on troubled waters. So we love you all, and we are bringing you in a very, very safe space. And it's fabulous, but heavy energies right now. A lot of shaking around on all levels. So it's just in a couple of bit of coolness from Tibet. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Yep, can't see much. Om Mani Padme Hum. Bringing in the essence of the sacred divine bodies of grace and compassion and purification. Thank you, blessed Queen. The awakening of the beautiful lotus. I don't know what I'm saying, but we're just channeling this one for today. Okay, I'm going to take the messages away for a little bit because I will get very sidetracked right now. And I don't need to do that right now. So I don't want to do that. Okay, so I was really feeling a while back, probably a couple of days ago, just really tuning into this 3-eye atlas. Whichever way you want to look at it, it doesn't really matter. but it is a reality that there is something incredible out there. There have been some beautiful, and the whole thing is just like weird. Never mind the what's in the sky, but the whole way that the powers that be and have had control for way too long and that we have trusted have been handling this. So there's going to be this massive awakening of people just for that alone. Why the shutdown? People are going to be awakening, not not knowing what they're awakening to, but there will be some incredible, incredible energies on the planet. If you Google somewhere, you can have a look at I really haven't dipped into this too much because I want to just keep myself reasonably clear and in the space that I'm focusing on it right now, which is just soaring above the roaring, but it's kind of real. So there's some very beautiful images from the Japanese space station. So right now we have this incredible live mothership. That's that's what I feel it is. It's taken a long time to get here. I know that I called something through in 2015, 16, which arrived in 2017, which even was similar to my name. And I still said they took a damn long time getting here. And this one is also taken a very long time to get here. So they come from very, very far away, considering the speed that they actually travel. Right now, I'm really feeling that they are, yes, behind the sun and just empowering and pulsing out the energy of the sun. And the sun, please, guys, is just so important to tune in to the energy. We're going to go through a few of the creation myths and the prophecies of things that are kind of dear to me and just how they're linking in. And it doesn't matter whether you believe the prophecies or whatever, they're just all linking. And it's just interesting how they're all in a space right now of purification. And blessed PG, he's got a lot to carry because he's going to be up there in the sky when on the 29th, when 3i Atlas comes out of hiding. So PG is going to get this mega blast. So yeah, don't forget your group, and I hope you got your pretty handbag because I think you might need it up there. But anyway, PG's got a lot of interesting dates, so I'm glad he's in it. I'm feeling a little lost without him, but it's okay. I'm not. So I have to just hold this space right now. From above, I'm really just not on the ground. Doing very grounding stuff, but just soaring above the roaring, and just hope everybody's feeling a lot of the gold and violet purification that is being poured onto the planet. And it's also like really like pause for always some people that have been holding this space and energy for she's been holding it for 53 years and has never missed a day. Has actually she's actually pulled out until next year. She didn't even properly say goodbye. She said she's just going. So people going, a lot of people are just removing themselves and putting themselves into whatever, a deep space of prayer and whatever you want to call it, manifestation, meditation, connection. So that's all we got to do right now. It's like, let's go through. It's like, so Atlas, I think we did mention before, Atlas didn't hold up the world at first. He actually held the cosmos and the stars, but they kind of all leaked out and they just drained onto him. And his children are the Pleiades, the seven sisters. But I'm going to get into the Atlas, Atlantean, very related to that. He was also then created as a mountain in Africa. So he holds the Atlas Mountains, also where Atlantis was. So the energies right now are very much on a hinge where we are going forward into this incredible technology age, but at the same time having to really be earth keepers, and that is hugely the strong core. And I'm feeling like I did a little while ago where I'm feeling like a little frustrated. Why am I doing this? Because this isn't my stuff. But it's okay. Um, I like my African stuff, which is where I feel comfortable to do it in. But I just obviously have this way of being able to put some things together. So let us just into somewhere. It's been a busy day. It's been a busy week. So here we have these incredible little Kachina dolls, which are very sacred to the Hopi people. And one of the groups that I work with for a few years, she has been working with the Hopi very much since 2020, but all her life as a child. I like her very much because she's was brought up in an atheist country, so she has no idea about religion. I mean, it's kind of been revealed to her the higher masters in the Christ consciousness, but she came from Hungary, Prague, and that's where she was brought up. So that was a communist country, so religion was kind of forbidden. But she had an incredible earth grandmother, and she's been a deep mystic pretty much all her life. But as a teenager, and I totally relate to that, she just threw herself into meditation. Got hold of some crazy books. And it was the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And she just meditated and had many visitations. And I really trust her. She's one of the very, very few people that I trust because she really travels. And she will only talk about her own experiences. Why am I talking about that? It doesn't matter. So the Hopi people, and she's just now this weekend, a lot of the meditations that I've been doing have been related to that. She works a lot with the Hopi people for quite a few years. And there was a huge, big opening and meditation on Saturday and a lot of purification. She doesn't have opinions about any of this stuff. She's only into being an earth keeper and being, yeah, awakening and embracing and loving mother. So I just thought I would actually bring in, if I can find anything. Everything's got like strange, but then I think everybody's things are going strange. So the earth, and you know, I've done quite a bit on the Dogon people, which it relates. It's just such a incredible little mirror of each other right now. But let's just work our way through the Hopi people because you guys are in America, or if you're there, or if you're in Canada, this is your stuff. You know, I've said for a long time that you guys can just literally walk out of your door and onto the land, and you will be standing on sacred land. You know, that these people have been just like put into reservations all over, and the land's been removed. So we don't need to go very far. You know, I feel quite strongly that we should like root where we are, you know, and just absorb some of that energy wherever we are at this specific time, because we're in the right space right now. So let's just stop looking everywhere else and just sit down. A big thing that was also going to jump into that just now coming up for me, because these are all the myths, all the stories, prophecies, whatever you want to call them, are about this incredible time of the purification. and we've been doing the violet flame. I'm just doing it. It's just my whole universe is just golden violet, and I need to just focus on that because that's came up a while ago as like quite a surprise that I was doing all this violet, which is just purification and just surrounding myself and the earth and myself and the earth and these incredible codes which are just pouring through. We don't understand them. Sometimes you do get a download or insights into what they mean. Um, Sometimes they're not even for you. You're just like being a pure channel. So that's really the thing to be right now, is to just put your feet on the ground, connect to Mother Earth inside, and connect to Father Sky above, and make yourself available as a channel, because we desperately need this. You know, the more people that are little candles on the planet, the better that we have. The other thing, before we go into these things, it's the easy way. Huh? We get so stuck in the myth of our trauma that we forget what the trauma was, but we keep holding on to that chemical imbalance within ourselves and just keep picking away at it. This is something to do. It's not just you can do it over and over and over and over again whenever you feel like doing it or feel the need to do it. But a really simple suggestion is just the purification. Surround yourself with the purple flame. Just sit quietly, light a candle. Give yourself half an hour to just try to be as still as possible as you can and have a conversation with your. I'm going to cry because I'm feeling so. There was something I wanted. So Grace made me something really beautiful a while ago, and that is this incredible Delphi. Oh, I can feel that. But I think it's time to use this beautiful channeling thing. Thank you, Grace. I haven't got the comments on. I'll have a look just now. I need to just focus there. So I would just strum the easiest. Just be yourself. Be your little real self. Forget about all the Egyptians and the Romans and the Hopis and the stars and anything. And just sit and say, hello, God. This is me. This is my life. These are the things that really aren't working for me. This is how I feel. This is what's freaking me out. Nathan, I'm thinking very much for you at the moment, but for all of us. This is the shit that I'm in. This is what I can't forgive myself or keeps going round and round in my brain. And just have a real conversation. You don't have to write, you can if you want, but just like, person to person, God to God. And let the tears be there. Just let that forgiveness, let that pure, because we're in this time of purification. Let that just purge and purify and just be there. I have to actually just see, maybe I'm not. Thank you, please, Sydney. Yeah, and then just the next part of this kind of meditation. And Angela, we're waiting for a song from Angela, but it's okay. We're all going through like a real purge again. And then the next part of that is to tell God, or whatever you call it, to tell your higher self what you want, because this is your chance, and this is really your chance. Whatever Atlas is, doesn't matter. There's just so much energy on the planet at the moment with people's thoughts, so and their interpretations of it. So we can hugely just pick that up and purge and create. And when you're offered something, is this what you want? Stop. Let's just stop looking all the time. It's quite simple. And just like focus on what you want and try and keep it. That's not so easy. I know it's much easier said than done. And try to just focus on what you want right now. And all things are passed away. Many of us are going through a completely new, sometimes not even built upon the old, because if you're going to build upon the old, you are going to loop into some trauma. And working with like positive visualization, so with every like negative thought you say, try to stop yourself as soon as possible and just remain in your magnificence, your sovereignty, whatever you want to call it. I am a child of God. I'm pure. I'm holy. I'm sacred. I am just focusing on filling myself with light. And that's just being like these little like candles, just filled with light. That is the biggest, most important thing that we're on the planet to do, is just to shine, shine, shine. And more so right now, it's just to shine. If you want to add in some purple flames and fire for the planet, or rainbows, whichever your calling is right now. I'm not into the warrior thing. Some are warriors. I've been a warrior for a long time. Not really. I didn't worry. I just rushed in. I always said my mother worried enough for me, so I didn't have to do the worrying. I could go out and do the fool's rush in stuff. But yeah, just shine. That is what we're here to do. Is to connect first and foremost to the sun energy, the big sun, and it's hugely about the sun. I had the most experience. I mean, there's just so many things that have been like shared on huge levels in the. Thank you so much, Peaky. And me, the rain, how sacred it is. I was thinking how long, quite a while ago, we were talking about one perfect drop of water. PG sometimes would ask me what I wanted, so I've had strange little requests. So that was one of them. Was just one perfect. It was months ago. One perfect water, or postcards from heaven. Or yeah. Thank you, love. I'm jumping in. I really, PG. I know you do not have time right now, but maybe somewhere in your magnificent brain, you can just think of putting together a compilation of some of the images and the transformation that you have shared with the group. I was thinking about how you saw the group always, and you've done it a few times, but as beautiful light beings, our group. And you say it so casually, so I'm not sure if anybody always gets it, but we're all going to be crying here just now. It's like it's such a beautiful black space. So yeah, and maybe send it to me so I can just remind us and see what we've been creating or created. So he's done so much work that we really don't have to do that work. We're moving into new beautiful work. Without the trauma, without the drama. It's not easy to leave it behind. It's our best friend. It's our own, misery loves company. But just please, guys, rise above it, because these are such exciting times. Beautifully exciting. Okay, so the Hopi people. I don't know why. I have done a little bit about them, but not really that much. I know when I went to America and to Canada, I really, really wanted to connect with some Indian, some Native American tribes. It wasn't easy. The closest I got to was like in Canada. I went to Vancouver, but they were like just a lot of very expensive curio stores which sold indigenous art, which was like way beyond my stuff. There were some beautiful totem poles, as token gestures in the park. I was with a bus on a bus, and there was a native, and we went past some of the reservations. There was just so much sadness with the local people. Just my heart really broke. So um, we're having better luck now. A lot of people are going. I do believe it's one of the Hopi prophecies, or I don't like that word, but one of their visions, that many will grow their hair and join them. Their vision, and their vision is for them very, very, very strong. Um, Go and look up more about them, but they are earth keepers. There are a few people around. I also work with this guy from Peru who's just he's a sun god. He didn't know any of this stuff. There's only like 2,000 of their guys that are left on the planet. They live up in the mountains in Peru, and they're keepers of the sun. They don't know anything else. No, they live in very, very cold climates, and they just do sacred ceremonies. They don't do any drugs. So they just tune into the sun energy. So he's like the high priest of the sun. So little bits and pieces of what I do or what I'm working with. So the Hopi people are one of the most profound and ancient relationships. Oh, because why am I doing this? The Pleiades is because Atlas, blessed Atlas, is the father of the Pleiades, the seven sisters. So those are his kids. We'll get into them just now. But by the time we get to the Greek stuff, it's so confusing. These I don't know. Yeah, these. That's my personal thing. That's where a lot of the problems started, with the confusion in our Western stuff. Bits and pieces of knowledge were taken from Egypt and not brought in their entirety, or not given like proper homage. Pythagoras spent 20 years watching pyramids, so no wonder he created all these like theories. So anyway, but he created a really, really strict, weird religion around it. So people just took bits and pieces and kind of made it their own, but not really. Anyway, he eventually popped himself off. So the Hopi people, different. I've done quite a lot with the ancient tribes, and obviously these are all the Hopi really do the Pleiades, and like the Nomo do Sirius. And they all have very similar stories. So obviously we were seeded and visited. We have done this a lot in some of my previous live streams. But okay, so let's just get in very clearly and focused into some of the Hopi stuff, which I think is important for now. It's just a nice little base. So they have this really ancient relationship with the Pleiades, known to them as the Chuhukon. The image here are the Kushina dolls, and they are very, very sacred. You could look at them as voodoo dolls, whichever one you want to look at. And they spend half the year in their house, and it's their kind of teaching mechanism. They empower them with the energy of the gods, or the energy of the elders and what they're keeping. And I don't think that they should just be any of these things. We've had a big problem with the artifacts from Africa, and they are talking, so the world is getting like really scared. Some of the people, because these things are alive. Can't ask the Indians. Yeah. So they do embody a lot of stuff, and they were made with sacredness. Not black magic at all. Black magic was left to the West, guys. They really abused bits and pieces of this magic. So I hope I'm coming across reasonably clearly, and I don't want to be negative about any of this, but just be pure. Be pure. It's purification. So they had this beautiful relationship with the Pleiades, known to them as the Chuhukon, meaning those who cling together. And this star cluster, visible in the winter sky, holds deep spiritual, cosmological, and ancestral meaning in Hopi tradition. The Hopi believe that their ancestors came from the stars, specifically from the Pleiades, and that these stars are a gateway to their origin. I don't do the Pleiades. It's not my stuff. I said a while back, I remember Millie really connected with the Venus. I know, like, Suzette, if she's here, she's very Pleiadian. It's not my stuff. I just want to go somewhere else. I can go, I deal, yeah, I can go to Sirius, and I enjoy that energy very much. The Pleiades is not my stuff. So that's why I get like this little irritation. Why do you do this? So the Hopi trace their lineage through a series of worlds. So all cultures, almost all of them, have this similar thing. So they have the first, the second, the third, and now the fourth world. It's also like the yugas, which the Vedic have. The Pleiades are often seen as a celestial home or spiritual point of return, linked to where their souls journey after death or between worlds. And we don't have to wait for death, guys. This we know. And if you don't, now you know. This is where we're going. We're like transforming. Our bodies are purifying. Our bodies are changing. That's why our bodies are turning crystalline, and it's coming from the sun. So this is why I really feel Atlantis is just like Atlas, is really just pulsating extra energy. You can look at the app and see how much energy is pumping on the planet right now from the sun. The Pleiades play a crucial role in Hopi ceremonial cycles and agricultural calendars. They were also taught how to do agriculture by these incredible beings. When the Pleiades rise at dawn before the sun, it signifies the start of the planting season. All of these ancient cultures are doing things by the stars. They start their planting, they reap their planting, and we're the barbarians here. When the Pleiadians rise at their midwinter appearance marks the season of renewal, a time for ceremonies of balance and gratitude. Thus, the stars act as a cosmic timekeepers, connecting the rhythm of the heavens with the fertility of the earth. In the Hopi cosmology, the Pleiades represent spiritual unity, kingship, and cooperation. Those who cling together. It's like the African Ubuntu. We work together. It's not me first. This reflects, he who has the most toys has got too many toys. This reflects the Hopi ideal of living in harmony with one another, with nature, and with the cosmic order. The 7 visible stars correspond to the 7 sisters who embody sacred feminine energy, creation, and the nurturing of life. Some Hopi prophecies refer to the return of the Pleiades energy as part of a great renewal of the earth, when humanity remembers its cosmic origins and returns to balance. The Kachinas, which are the sacred spiritual messages, are said to come from the stars, many from the region of the Pleiades, to guide and awaken humans to their responsibilities as caretakers of the earth. And they're really funny. There's just some woman, she's called Mother Corn Woman, who actually creates them now. She doesn't create very many because it's very sacred when she carves them. and they're not statues to have in your house. I don't think so. They must be looking after the earth, because that's what the intention that they've been made with. In tradition, Hopi villages, same as the Nomo, same as all the African villages, their ceremonial kivas and structures align with star positions. The African villages are all built around star constellations. So us living in our little boxes are a little weird, so we have to do all the stuff outside. Interesting that the Hopi also do a lot of these, they go underground to do a lot of festivals. And they also say, like the Dogon, they're not talking. So I think they just feed the Western societies some certain up to a certain level of their stories, but they're not sharing it all. So we have to just connect with our blue beings. And just, they've been for like the last year and a half, 2 years, really started coming in these incredible blue energy beings. And a lot of they're not Syrian, some are very old. I think some were the Nomo that we now know, or part of the Syrians, water beings. I've really been connecting on and off with them for a long time. Some were really very clear that they had been here, they are here, they live in the water. That was my first connection with them, was 2 years ago. Last year, my birthday. Then I had the golden beings last year. I forget. But yeah, they really needed to feel our humanity, because they're very gentle, they're really sweet. I thought at first that they were the spirit beings of Mu, from Agartha, that went underground. But they're definitely the Nomo, the water beings, and they've come back to teach us. Okay, but you'll hear they all say they're coming back. Okay, the Hopi Mesa is in Arizona, and it's said to mirror the Orion constellation, with the Pleiades riding in relationship to their placement, forming a sacred map that unites heaven and earth. And ancient feng shui, it's like that's the old translation. The original translation is creating heaven on earth, or living under the canopy of heaven. In essence of the Hopi, the Pleiades are not distant stars. They are family. They are teachers and timekeepers, carrying the memory of their origin and the rhythm of their spiritual life. There's a lot, and this, hey, just use it. That's why I mentioned about the blue beings, because they've been appearing to people all over the place for a while. So I would strongly suggest. Hey Debs, hello everybody. So I'm just like popping in here quickly to see. But yeah, there's so many layers, but it's not really. And Angela's going on a beautiful sweat lodge, which is going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to hearing what that's about, what works for her. But as I said earlier, just really tune into what you feel. Just be open, be honest. Nobody's hearing you, just God. Just don't be somebody you're not. Just like, this is the shit I got, God. Like, help. It's called surrender, or, these words. I'm just trying to put them in different ways for us. So, this is just so interesting, the way this was created, where we actually see the Pleiades as the star of life. I don't think they're quite like that, but it's like 7 with this 6 around, which creates this beautiful flower of life, which was just amazing. So we're in this time now. They talk about the red, the blue, and the red star Prophecy is one of the most profound and widely discussed teachings in Hopi cosmology, describing the end of one world and the beginning of another. So it's the time of purification. So it's also inner purification. Don't stress about what's going on there. Stress about your own purification right now. And as I've said for so long, just eat the best food you can, the cleanest food that you can, whether you eat meat or you don't, that's not a thing. Just it's the chemicals we don't want. So just of the earth, eating as close to the earth as possible. And drinking water, drink the best possible water you can. Energize your water. It's all full of beautiful sacred geometries. We are surrounded, every breath we take is sacred geometry. Just tune into it more and more and more and more and more. And into the blue beings. We act truth wave, this beautiful blue energy. Just, it's sacred. It's like very much how energy often appears. So whether you want to give it a label that it's from Sirius, Syrian beings, or the avian beings, doesn't matter, just it's the blue energy. And if you'd really tune into that beautiful blue energy, it will tell you exactly the same thing. They're doing a lot of forgiveness, that blue energy, and they want to hear your story. Just like I shared now, that was a process I did a few months ago. I'm trying to think, there's an Australian woman who does that process with the book about a year ago, when she was also being visited hugely by the blue beings. I can't remember her name right now. She's been around for a long time. So it's just transition, but the worlds before ended, and there were cataclysmic things with fire or with ice or with water, and we are so blessed. They don't want to mess this up. They want the world of pure. They want the purification. That's what we're working at. A transition not of destruction, but of purification and renewal. It bridges cosmic, spiritual, and earthly dimensions, and has been passed down through oral tradition for countless generations. And this is the new. Yeah, it's based on the old, or the new old, but we're moving into the new. It's so cute, the new me. Yeah. Don't overcomplicate it. Just try to keep it as simple as possible for yourself. Make it really easy so that you can catch it and run with it and ride with it. Yeah. The Hopi prophecy of the blue star, which is Sakwa Soho, the blue star Kachina, or Sakwash, ho, 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 is said to be a celestial being, a spirit messenger, who appears in the heavens to announce the purification of earth and the arrival of the fifth world. The prophecy says that when the blue star Kachina makes its appearance in the heavens, the fifth world will emerge. This will be the day of purification. And thank God it's never just a day. It foretells that the blue star will be visible to all, and it will mark the return of the Kachinas, the spirit guardians of the earth, sky, and stars. The blue star is seen as both a sign and a teacher, calling humanity to return to balance, to live in harmony, simplicity, and truth. The blue star represents the awakening of higher consciousness, the blue light, and spiritual clarity. Bring it into your being. And bring it into your throat chakra. It's your third eye chakra. Just bring it into your being. Just say, come in. Just good energies. Come in. The return of the ancestors and star nations, bridging wisdom and guidance. Tune into your ancestors. They're talking to us. Yeah? A lot, fathers, grandfathers, mothers, aunties, uncles. Yeah? They're here to be our guides, to hold our hands, to wipe our tears, to also say sorry to us. Yeah? They really want to communicate. It's the call to purification, not through fear, but through absolute love and the remembrance of sacred living, simplicity, saying thank you for your food, thank you for the grass we walk on. Wow, I mean, have you seen what grass looks like under a microscope? Just the grass we walk, it's full of happy little smiley faces. It's the vascular system, but it's our DNA when you cut it. It's the flower of life in it. And just take this like I honestly think that the whole Abrahamic myths and the Christian myths really twisted it. But somewhere that's also part of the prophecies, where the truth will be told as lies and lies will be as truth. So this is really, we're calling humanity to think for themselves, not just like the obvious, it's totally like, why are you hiding all of this stuff? And for so long, obviously we can go down, we don't even have to do rabbit holes anymore. The rabbit holes are just like it's like flood waters coming up out of the holes. Nobody needs to go diving into rabbit holes anymore. Okay, so it's awakening, it's purification, it's that honesty, that truth. Many Hopi elders connected this to a cosmic or astronomical event, possibly a supernova, a new star, or even the appearance of a celestial body, comet, or planetary shift. Though in the deepest sense, it is about inner transformation as much as celestial signs. Well, we've got the celestial sign, whether it doesn't matter, because it's the inner purification and it's the energy that's pouring into the earth. The red star is the Pahosohus. Following the blue star is the prophecy speaks of the red star Kachina, who brings the final stage of purification. This red energy symbolizes the fire of transformation, the collapse of the old order, and the clearing of the earth before renewal. Just focus on yourselves, guys. I mean, on everything else as well. The cleansing of corruption and imbalance. It's going on around us, but try not to get into it. So many people are called to do it. I bless them so deeply that they're doing it, that I don't have to tune into the news or scroll through anything right now. Almost nothing on YouTube. I just finding ignorance is absolute bliss right now of the shit that's going on. Because for me, it's like I've got what I want and now I'm after it. And you're not going to get what you really want if you keep looking in YouTube too much. It's going to confuse you. And they're just like such clickbaits. And you want to keep your energy as buoyant. You just need 17 seconds to keep that energy buoyant. And then the next 17 seconds. And it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of focus to keep it going. And it's so much easier to wallow in the trauma. Sorry. Grace did some awesome stuff. The epileptic. I hope you do a whole series of those. It's just so cool. Why we got so many, we shouldn't be having these. These are questions we need to ask. We need to find the answer quickly. And we need to just say, it's enough. Okay, we're rising in purification. We're rising in energy. We're rising in light. We're rising together, individually and together. Because the more light, as I've said, the more light, I've been on it this way for so long, the more light that we create within ourselves, the more light is on the planet, the easier it's tipping. We need to really focus on pouring light into ourselves because we need to change our bodies. Yeah, we're not going anywhere with this meat suit right now. And the more light that you purify yourself with, the less you're going to have these crazy, they do wobble around with your brain, the energies. But just be in the sun. Put your feet on the earth every day. Hug a tree, touch a tree. You don't have to run around hugging a tree. You can do it very elegantly and just gently caress the branches. Acknowledge them. So we're going through these earth changes, great upheaval in nature and society, huge. The burning away of illusion, revealing truth and divine order. Yeah, we're all getting a serious stripping away and a big wake-up call. Like, you know, how did we get it all so wrong? Even the most fabulous getting it wrong. Whatever we're doing is good. You know, we're all changing right now. After this purification, a new world, the fifth world, emerges, one of harmony, equality, and peace. And that's like the fifth dimension. It's like there are many people living on the fifth dimension right now. People that have passed are definitely many living there. Many in this reality are also living more in the fifth dimension. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think we have to, like, you know, it's this last one left behind, none left behind. But we have to just energize this earth, because Mother Earth is never before, ever, never in all the billions of years has this ever happened. And it's time. She's had enough. So she's rising. So that's why we keep energizing. A little while ago, I kind of saw her as, I just wanted to put like a helium balloon around her so she could just like rise. Anyway, they describe this as the return of the sacred way, where humanity once again honors the land, spirit, and all life. And there have been some wonderful pointers along the way in different cultures that have discussed things. Yeah. I think it's also in the Hopi, where not everybody has exactly the same story, but they're very similar because they're oral traditions. But the golden thread is always there. Yeah. On the Silk Road, in the Silk Road times, when Africa was just absolutely wonderful and filled with architects and doctors and surgeons, they would discuss things, they would share knowledge. They would have, and the Indians, you know, the Hindu are very, very big at having their different interpretations. And they all just make it richer. They're not far off from each other, but they just make it so richer, so much richer. So you can, you know, have so many different. I think it was a big thing in my life, which was Sir Winston Churchill. He said in his youth he would just read the one perspective, and as he got older, he realized how important it was to actually read both sides of the story, so that you could stand in the middle and make your own decision. He wasn't such a nice man, actually, but he had some good points. Beast out of not too bad. The cycle of worlds. The Hopis say that we have lived through 4 worlds. Already, each have been destroyed because humanity lost balance. The first world was destroyed by fire. By fire, well, or volcanoes. It's like that was like some serious bang, bang, bang coming down on the earth. Which melted a lot of sand and created that glass, obsidian, and there's huge glass pans all over the world. So just trust me on that one for now. You can go and figure it out for yourself. The second world was ice, which was destroyed by ice. Not sure how that one happened, whether it was a meteor that like hit the world and covered up the sun, but that happened also incredibly quickly. Yeah, because I mean, animals are found still eating food. Okay. And who knows what's under the ice. The third world was by water and all over, except China. China didn't do that. They have a slightly different thing. They dug canals to change the water because there was this big flood all over the world. And that's where we get feng shui and where we get the working with the dragons of the earth, because he was like led by a dragon. And he dug canals for 14 years with the people. Fusi. And he got like the story on the turtle. Lots of turtles always. Holy turtles. Okay, our present, we shouldn't eat turtle soup. The fourth, and that was obviously where a lot of that came from. After the, I'm not sure where the Nomo and all those people came to. I think it was after the water that they came and told people. There, but yeah, okay, let's leave that for now. The fourth world, our present world, is now reaching its purification. So that's what we want. We're being called hugely to purify ourselves. And obviously, a lot of the scientists, a lot of the younger people are studying to work with the oceans and creating alternate solutions. But it's a very, very, very fine balance, this whole indulgence of money. Money's fine. There's nothing wrong with money, but it's what people are doing with it. The stupidity that people are creating. It's like, yeah, just before COVID, yeah. It was 2012, yeah. Elegantly caress the trees. Yeah, it's important to like get off the YouTube for now because it's like really like, yeah. Yeah. Okay, you're on Indian mounds. That's so interesting. Because those are burial sites. There was a wonderful woman in England, and she lived near a burial mound, and the energy was quite heavy. And she just felt to go and pour water and say prayers. She's an architect. She's not a spiritual person at all, and she just was felt that pain. And she just wanted to ease that pain. So that's what she was doing. And then the fairies started to come and talk to her. And she's got some amazing photographs of the beings because they came to say thank you to her. So she has this incredible connection with fairies. Yeah. And photographs. There's some, also it's the orb, and sometimes, and it's take photographs. I really am trying to work with my camera a little bit, just like just sending beautiful, because they're beautiful, and they're talking, and the light is there, and sometimes you don't like, you just she's talking to us all the time through the clouds, through the trees, through this golden field that we're walking through for many of us, because we're having winter time. Well, autumn time. Yesterday was just like, it was so amazing. It was really weird, and it got weird because it happened so often, right? So it's really it's kind of been cold, and it's been raining. And eventually I had the kids again yesterday. Stressful. So, but we went out, and that's when I first noticed it. When we got to the lake, the sun just like exploded through, and it was so warm, and it was like really just hitting me straight in my third eye. There was also this crazy warm swim because it was windy, so like, it must have been really anyway. And then it would cloud over, and then boom, the sun would like explode out, just like a little crack. I really just like, okay, beautiful sun, enjoy the sun, blah, 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 blah. Because it was so beautiful and warm, so beautifully warm. And then we were walking back, and it was like the same thing with Sonic. This is like getting a little weird. Then came this incredible big wind, huge wind. I was just laughing and dancing. It was like really a big wind, but not for long, just for like a few minutes. I know it's my father when they get that wind like that. So I had a nice communication with him. I was laughing and dancing in the wind. And then came home, we had rain again, and then it was making like lunch for the kids in the kitchen, and boom, the sun came in through the window, but just for like a minute or two. And it's like really just hits me. Boom! Go to the bathroom. Sun comes out. Boom! It was, so yeah, it's like just got like a little like interesting. Yeah. And then there would be like these amazing like downloads and like talking to beings. And the rain would come literally for 5 minutes, and then we would like stop. And then could make another come again. And it's like just be ignorant. So find your own way. Your own ones will talk to you. But this is just a little how some of mine talk to me. Just because. But you must sit if you do, and it's very subtle. And the more you listen, I mean, we noticed that also the other day when we were doing the trees with the kids, and we were asking the trees for their names. There were lots of trees, but we got Alfonso and we got Alice. But every time we would talk to a tree, also you don't notice it at first, then a bird would start singing. Just one bird, like it's a song. And everybody's chatting, and then it's a beautiful song. Hello, bird. And there are not that many birds around at the moment. They've gone on holiday. And they would talk to another tree and connect with another tree, and I'd tell them to look up and just like hold the tree, whatever, it's not a big deal. It's just like, what's the tree's name? Just stop and look how beautiful it is. No spiritual stuff, just how beautiful is the tree. Look at the bark, feel it. How does it feel? And then another bird would start singing, and they were all different. And then I said, have you noticed that every time we stop to connect with a tree, a bird sings, and it was a different bird song every time. Sometimes we could acknowledge because they were ducks or crows, but just so little connections. It make you sparkle and feel really happy. Let's just have a look here. Yeah, we were in 5D, and it's unfortunate. It's too slow a process because the West, we love our fucking rhetoric, and yeah, we have been under like serious like negative attack. A lot is like moved, but it's like these guys are trying. I do believe very strongly that they can't come down here into our atmosphere, so we're pretty safe. But put this nice bubble around yourself, just because it's a nice thing to do, and you're doing this gold, this energy. Yeah, it's terrible, hey Grace. Yeah, the ancestral bones, they're crying, so you can relate to that story. Yeah, it's all over Africa. Yeah, I'm sure Australia too. All the ancient sites. Oh, Robin, hello, beautiful. Hey. Lovely, lovely too. I love that. To play, love, and remember. And we're all going through, well, I'm going through such remembrance stuff. Remembering how, beautiful stuff. And that's fabulous. Sometimes I think I've like remembered pretty much as I've got to remember. A lot, but it's just taking on a whole really beautiful new wave. Okay, so the Hopi, so please go and look if you feel called to it, to just have a little dip into what the Hopi are. So at the heart of the prophecy, it's not about destruction but remembrance. It urges humanity to live in right relationship with the earth. We've been through, no matter how small it is, it's just saying thank you for your water. It's saying thank you for the food that you get. You don't have to do a whole big prayer about it. You don't have to, it's just cooking with consciousness. Be really grateful that you have food. Really grateful. And that we have so many different kinds of foods. That's it. I mean, I do. I would binge watch Gordon Ramsay, but I would often think I would not eat in his place with all that shouting that goes on. No, please. When I would teach, I'd say if you're in a bad mood and you're going to cook your food, you're going to have better luck. You're going to have better energy going to McDonald's or getting a takeout. Because baking bitter bread, whatever you're thinking, if you're like got too much pain and whatever, don't want to put that in your food. Cook with wooden things. Get rid of the plastic. It's nasty stuff. It's not a conductor. It's got its place, but it's not a good conductor for food. Anyway, remember the sacred cycles of time. Now, you don't have to do all the moon things, just the four, which are really nice, the solstices and the equinoxes. They're kind of nice. All cultures, the Jewish do all of them. The Christians do them all, but do them with a different consciousness. Do them with the real sacredness, not just as a presence and ritual, and bring in the new birth. Educate yourselves, bringing in the new sun, and it's all about the sun. All of these, we haven't gone into this here, but it's all about the sun. They did not worship the sun, but it's close to worshipping the sun, yes, because without the sun, so they had deep gratitude, beautiful gratitude. They're all sun gaze. We've got these lovely terms. I'm sun gazing. The African people in my country, they like wait to get old, and then they have round houses, and then they move their chair to follow the sun. They just move around, follow the little houses. So just sitting in the sun. They do so much outside in the sun. I think I've mentioned this before, that in a lot of places, South Africa got a little bit messed up, so also with the food-wise. But other places, most of the food comes from trees or is grown in the sun. So we're eating sun. That's what's important. And the things that are grown in the ground, they actually put outside for a while to absorb the sun. And there's even that thing that's like, now if you eat mushrooms, normal champignons, and if you put them in the sun for 2 minutes, they create vitamin D, which is almost very difficult to get. It's one of the few things, and they have vitamin K and they have high protein. But yeah, so just if you've got the time to put your mushrooms outside in the sun. So it's just doing things more and more with consciousness. And this, what I said, this is what we want to be like. We're pushing to be in like 96% consciousness. Every moment becomes sacred without it being sacred, because it's just called love and it's called smiling. So we respect races, we respect nations and beings as one family. People with a different opinion, you're allowed to have your opinion. It's a very European Western thing. I've been doing a lot of great, interesting stuff on that. I'm trying to find the nice stuff. They did it's this religion called greed for me. That's what I call it. So it's return to the world out of balance, to living of life in harmony. And then we have my friends. Dun, dun, dun. But remember, they're not telling everything, because we'll go and corrupt it. They don't want to sell you their stuff because you're going to stick it in and take it home like a trophy. That's not why they're making this stuff. I'm rude, hey? Forgive me. We have joy, we have fun, we have seasons in the sun. Thank you, Grace. Huh. Oh, PG, you're still here. Thank you, my love. I'll speak with you, Nana. Thank you for being here. Ah, he is. He's full of care. He's PG. I like to play with words like that. He's full of care. Yeah. Uh-huh. Play in nature. Enjoy your mushrooms if you do, but you don't have to. The Hopis smoke cigarettes. They smoke tobacco. It's the first sacred thing, and you see what we did to tobacco. Whoa, the African people also, tobacco is very sacred. And those African, those called the native shops. Ah, yeah. Smell they've always got like the natural tobacco. Natural tobacco is very weird, very different. When I was in America, I didn't smoke when I went there, then I started smoking again. But I was my daughter, blah blah blah. Whatever. So when I was in Canada, it had just been like when they discovered this like hole in the ozone and they took everything off the market like instantly in Canada, not like next year, in 5 years' time. But that was all aerosols with the CFCs. And then there was this whole big thing about Marlboro cigarettes. They wanted them to put um, the ingredients on the cigarettes, and Marlboro refused. They said they're not going to put all the ingredients on the back of cigarettes, especially with the filter. And it was like a huge big debate. And Marlboro said they'd rather not go into Canada, they'd rather lose that than put the ingredients. So, you don't have to know what the ingredients are, you have to just know that's a serious red flag. Anyway, then I went back to America. My daughter arrived and I started smoking again. And that was so weird. I wanted to eat these cigarettes. I was smoking Marlboro. I wanted to eat them. I wanted to like smoke 3 or 4 cigarettes at once. And I had this intense desire that I wanted to actually eat the cigarettes. It was like, and I'm like, that was seriously weird. And then I met a girl who introduced me to American Spirit cigarettes. I think it's called American Spirit. I just said, try these. And they were just because they were made them with no chemicals in them. And you have a cigarette, and it's like so amazingly satisfying. You don't want a cigarette for quite a long time. So interesting. Yeah. Then I rolled my own cigarettes for a long time. But anyway, so it's not it's the chemicals. Then I'll tell you what it is, but whatever. So let's move on quickly to our other friends and look at the similarity, because this was, I've seen it for a while. And when I was in America, I always thought like they had such similar artwork, the same patterns to the Native Americans, and the same beads. But the beads were then all coming from I don't know, where did the beads come from? Not from Africa, but from the silk trade. I don't know where the beads came from. I know I did know, but I forgot. And it wasn't the white traders. They had this great trading route. Maybe China. Who knows where the beads came from? We'll figure it out. So here we have, ta-da! These are not the Hopi Indians. They look almost identical. These are the Dogon of Mali. You must please Google, or you can go to, I'm telling you to go onto YouTube, but just look at the Dogon dance. They are insane. It's actually really sad. They are funny, and the comments are kind of fun, but they're not really. They're really sacred. It's impossible. I don't know. Those legs just turned to literally to like jelly, but those were they like a symbolic of the Dogon people, and they do go of the Ndomo, the fish people that had no legs. So I know I was painting these guys. I'd been through a whole series of painting Yeah. And those skirts, they're just so amazing. So, but they look so similar, don't they, just to the Dogon? Yeah. Whoops. 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 Let's see. So the Dogon, now I know they obviously they do like acknowledge the Pleiades, but completely different. They are holding Sirius, the whole Sirius line, and they know more, and they're very, very similar. I just needed to, because the little bits that I kind of know, well, I suppose I know quite a lot, that they're also huge earth keepers. It's so similar. They live kind of far away up in the mountains. They don't tell their story to anybody. They've got secret language. Well, they're not secret. They just like their own specific languages for initiates. I love the way that it's passed down, so there's no hierarchy. You're not born into it. The high priest or priestess will always be the oldest child of the oldest man. So it can change any day who's going to be next in line. Okay, so if the old man dies, then somebody else becomes the oldest man. So you're no longer going to be the priest. So the Dogon people of Mali hold one of the most intricate and ancient star cosmologies known to humankind, deeply connected with Sirius, the Earth, and the ancestral star beings known as the Nomo. My connection with Sirius was long before the Nomo, so obviously the Nomo came into my field of knowing to say hello. Their wisdom forms a bridge between the celestial and the terrestrial, preserving knowledge of astronomy, creation, and sacred stewardship that long predates modern science. And all this rhetoric and this arguing from the West. Well, they must have learned about Sirius from the missionaries. Anything to actually give these people acknowledgement. And there was a man who wrote about it. He was a French man, and he didn't just go there and get the knowledge. He lived with them for over 15 years. And when he passed, over 250,000 elders from different tribes, not just them, from all over, came to pay respects. That's some kind of respect that he got. So he wrote quite a lot, and but also very, they're not simple people. Very often it's the woman who's the high priestess, but she is full of maths and geometry and astronomy, not astrology, not astronomy. We're talking about looking and plotting stairways, pathways to the stars, growing your crops, planting your houses. All the houses in Africa, the original houses, are planted. Their wisdom forms a bridge between the celestial and the terrestrial. Also, yet again, under the canopy of heaven, the bridge between heaven and earth. Preserved knowledge of astronomy. I did say that. Astronomy, creation, and sacred stewardship. Okay, the star of Sirius is their central sun, because, just trust me, there's a sun in Sirius. There's a few suns in Sirius of their cosmology. So a bit like what's happening now, that it's like pushing the energy of our sun out from behind the sun. So that's what happens with Sirius as well. And Sirius is, I just heard the other day that palm trees come from Sirius, but that's the lineage of the Christ consciousness, comes from Sirius. The Dogon say that all life in the solar system came from Sirius, which they call Potolo. Po means the smallest and most powerful seed, the source of all creation. Tolo means star. And they figured that, they put it that it like weighs like 25 camel, 25 horses or something like that, which for them is like the highest weight, but like it's, that heaviness of the star. It's like, They describe Sirius not as one star, but as a system of three. Sigitolo, the visible Sirius A, the brightest star in the night sky. Potolo, Sirius B, a tiny, dense, invisible star that the Dogons say orbits Sirius A every 50 years. And they have a big celebration then. This was only confirmed by Western astronomers in the 20th century, but the Dogon had this knowledge for millennia. Then there's the Emiyatolo. My feeling of this one, what do they say? The system's third star, sometimes called the Sun of Women, is associated, it's Sirius C, with fertility, balance, and spiritual birth. In Dogon cosmology, Potolo is the seed star, the axis of all creation, the source of the spiritual life, force, the Nyama that flows through all beings. And they actually only really just have one God, you know. The Nomo are beings of the water and the stars. They are the celestial ancestors, described as amphibious, radiant beings. So half human, half fish. And that's, I don't think I've done that, but it's all across creation. And then you have the Nagas, which are half human, half snake, who descended from Sirius long ago to restore order and teach humanity. And of course we have, Lionsgate is Sirius. We wait for the Sirius star over the pyramids. They are the guardians of water and life, associated with regeneration, sound, and language. And they brought them also these incredible how to do architecture, how to do metal work, but like slightly different with different cultures, that they were taught slightly different things, but pretty much things, yeah. All how to plant some of them in the weirdest possible ways. I mean, those guys, like, they didn't figure it out. How to plant in the desert with like little moons, how to do like in China, those steps. Yeah. The Nomo taught the Dogon the order of the universe, including the star maps and planetary motions, the importance of balance between masculine and feminine forces. Interesting. The Hopi have 4 sexes. They're 4 genders, not sexes. They're 4 genders in the Hopi. And that I knew long ago. I didn't know about the Hopi, but now I know. But in many of the Indian, not all, many of the native cultures, you could choose to live like a woman if you were a guy. So they have absolutely no problem. So they're 4 genders. Let's not get complicated about it. It's, it is a choice, and they don't want to fight war. So they knew that some were going to be conscientious objectors and born like that. Yeah, not like that, but born that they didn't want to fight. Not everybody's a warrior. So that was choice. The Nomo are very, very strict about just 2 sexes, because that's where things went wrong for them, where they were twins, and the one got corrupted and the other didn't. And they practice circumcision, both female and masculine. And they relate that all to the stars. So don't go judge them for that. It's not, I don't think, personally, I don't think male circumcision is different, but they do it much older. African tribes, they don't do it as babies on the 8th day, because then you're really a man, and if you remove the clitoris, then you really, because that's the small penis. Okay, so they're very, very strict about only 2 masculine and feminine forces. The use, this is sounds a bit weird. Where's Scotty? The use of vibration and sound, sacred creative tools. They say the world was sung into being. Many cultures And if you've read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe all the way through, Aslan sang the word. It sang the world. It was made by song. And that's kind of, who says that? Where we went wrong was that one of the songs, the Chinese have a legend with that too, that one of the notes was off. And that long ago, and that created like a lot of problems because it was like on a weird frequency. You know, you can hear if you're playing a piano or you're playing violin or whatever, guitar, when it's one note is out of tune. The Nomo are often linked with the Egyptian Netinun, the primordial water, and the Sumerian Apakalo, who were the wise fish beings who came after the Great Flood. Yeah, it's still like the time framing. So I think it is after the flood because they taught humanity again. There's some really interesting things, like apparently in Tibet, there are people in samadhi just meditating in Mount Kailash. But people like also, they don't do well if they go to Mount Kailash. You're not supposed to go there. They still don't know if it's like man-made because it's too perfect, like it's like a huge pyramid. But there's a Russian scientist who went in and described all these, quite a few people, different kinds of people in deepest meditation, that they would seed a new earth should that need be. But you know, if you listen to, like, if you go into the Daves, I just read Indian stuff as it is. It's like I don't like look for any ulterior motives. I just like read it because this is, yep. And they go off and they meditate for thousands of years, and hold the earth. Vishnu holds whole of creation because of his meditation. Okay, so they look like the Nomo and the Hopi. So all these things are kind of happening right now, um, which is quite fun. So they're also huge earth keepers. They see themselves as guardians of the balance between the stars and the soil. I think a lot of African cultures do, but these guys really do. We have to keep digging and see if others do. But these are the ones that we know that are far away in the mountain, the Dogon. Their rituals, their mask dances, and agricultural cycles are all expressions of this balance, and all according to the planets. The Siji festival, which is every 60 years, and there's also never an exact day. They just like, they say it's 60 years and then they'll do it in like 52 years, and all of a sudden there'll be a festival. So it's like outfoxing the negative energies. The Chinese also do things in 60-year cycles. And the renewal of cosmic harmony. Their mask dances encode sacred geometries of creation, symbolizing the movement of the stars, the fertility of the earth, and the breath of life. Their architecture and village layout mirrors celestial constellations. They believe humanity's role is to keep Earth in alignment with the heavenly realms, to hold sacred relationship with both the soil and the stars. They teach that the Nomo will return when the world enters a time of purification and renewal, echoing prophecies found in many ancient traditions, including Hopi, Vedic, and Mayan. The Mayan also, they just moved into that place, and apparently in Brazil now, in South America, they're making it part of the school thing that we don't know who those temples were built by and who they belong to. But the Mayans and the Aztecs moved into things that were already there. Still great people. They say the Syrians will come again when humans forget their origins and need to be reminded of their cosmic heritage. So they are here already, they're waking us up, tuning into us. When the waters need healing, as the Nomo of beings of the sacred waters and life force. I think the Hopi also have some sayings about the water. When the star and earth energies realign, bringing new consciousness and restoring sacred balance. It's called the progression of the equinoxes, and we've had so many interesting star alignments. But just ride through them, guys. Just go and sit with God. Go and create your future. Do what you're called to do. Just be a candle. The moment is seen not as an apocalypse, but as a rebirth, the return of the sacred science of light, where earth keepers awaken once more to co-create in harmony with the cosmos. And there will be such a beautiful mathematics and new maths going to come through. It's going to be just so amazing and so fabulous, and new colors. And people will discuss these things and not argue, they will discuss. And you won't have to go through this hierarchy of England and America. And, got to prove stuff. Sometimes things don't have to be proved, they can just be discussed. How did you get it? I don't know. I just got it in the temple. My maths, I don't know. So don't put the guy down, acknowledge him. Sacred parables, deeper meanings. The Dogon teachings are not only about astronomy, they are living spiritual cosmology. They reveal that the universe is a living being breathing through cycles of expansion and contraction. Sound, vibration, and geometry are the language of creation. Humanity is seeded from the stars, and our journey is to awaken remembrance, to become conscious co-creators of light, like the Nomos. If you want to figure out what star you come from, it's kind of fun, but I think it's more about acknowledging that energy and carrying on with life here, for most people. Hey, they're always the weird ones, the strange, the wee odd ones, yeah. Thank goodness, they're the crazy flies. So this is the Pititolo and Potolo and Sirius A and B, and they've got some really beautiful, interesting artwork and beautiful symbology. Beings and mermaids and those things that come from that we love so much. But they also they have no legs, so they kind of like the Ganas, That's what Ganesha holds, and Shiva, all these beings, all the elementals, those are the Ganas. Without proper forms, proper bones and things. Oh, Celeste, hello. Go and study in the Himalayas. I think it's cold. But please go. Please go. If you weren't here, I'm going to if that's what you want to do, and I'm just feeling you need to hear this. So it's just about, I'm telling us all to just go and sit quietly with God. Doesn't matter, all of the stuff is great and wonderful, but don't waste your time on it. I mean, get the message quickly, but for us, many of us, unless you're called to go and live with them or something, and many are called to run away, run to them, go to them, do this with them. So But it's just about your own purification, and it's about being real. It's just sitting, taking half an hour, and just having a real good talk with God right now. This is my fucked up life. These are all the messes in my life, and you keep doing this. It's not something that you only do once. You do this not every week. We're only going to do this once. We're going to do it again next year, or on the 4 turning cycles, and really just pour your heart out, and that's your purification. That's how did I get into this mess? How? Doesn't matter. Yes, it's your thought forms and all of that, but now I need to get out of it, and I'm really sorry we're going into that just now. And then create a beautiful future for yourself. Keep it simple, and stick with that. Then see how to make it happen. You want to go study in the Himalayas. I just heard the other day, I saw there's a Bhutan, which is like Tibet, where the Tibetan monks are. There's a queen, it's very small. But if you want to go there, because you can go and look at all the paintings and very, very, very old temples, you have to pay, I think it's $247 a day to be there. So they don't want tourists. So it's expensive. So every day you go to Bhutan, you have to pay a tax. It's non-refundable. Yeah. I would love to go to India or Tibet. Yeah. This one, it's beautiful, hey? No, I know. I'll post it. It's very beautiful. It's very, 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 very amazing. And it's very simple. It's really simple. But we have been given different things, and then bless Atlas. But I want to move on to something else. It's kind of things. Or do we? And Atlas is of like relation to Atlantis. These guys, these are we've got another. These are also the seven, the Pleiades. Am I going on too long? I've got an allergy. To something. Grace, when are you going? Because I do want to do a thingy with you, a Zoom. So you must leave. I've had thought now, but I don't think I want to do one after this. I've got like so much energy. I've got a lot of like, but it's okay. I'm like, and then I'd like be like exhausted. But I'm pushing through I don't want to do this exhaustion. I will not. I never did in my life. Where am I? I want to tell us about these guys because they face. Oh, before we do that, let's see if I've got this. I don't think I put it up here. I mentioned it before. No, I don't have to. This guy. I don't have the Ho'oponopono prayer, but I will post it. I mentioned this a little while ago because of it's like really it's coming up so much how the ancients, the sacred old civilizations have been so dreadfully abused and tried to be wiped out, and such bad magic. Where was it also? Oh, Grace, we were talking, remember a little while ago about the 1970s? Oh, okay, awesome. So we've got a little time. Thanks, Grace. Maybe we'll make a time tomorrow, but I'll send you a thingy. Or talk. There was like a huge party with the Rothschilds in the 70s, 74. And then so many interesting, yet again, trying to annihilate a lot of the ancient people around the world. Grace will know that in Australia, I think it was in also 78, somewhere there, we had the 76 riots in South Africa, and they had, they really messed around with the Hopi and the indigenous American tribal people in 74. So it was yet another flag for me. It was like, okay, you know, not going down, but it's like worth mentioning because these things are all jumping out right now. So the more that we because we don't want them, we don't want them. We really don't want them. They've taken the magic, and that is magic hugely from the pyramids, from the African cultures, but just a little bit, and abused and made really dark, really dark, like really dark. Anyway, let's not go there. It's done, over, done and dusted. That we worked with that a little while, and this comes here because that's why I wanted to bring in the Vedic stuff, because they don't really like the Pleiades. Okay, just interesting things. Yeah, in the 70s. Yeah, very dark. But don't go into it too. You really don't want to go down those little nasty places. But very, very real, hey. I'm going to say, yeah, because like when we had, I wasn't there, I was living here, but when they had the big soccer, the World Cup in South Africa, my daughter told me that there were so many inquiries, not just for underage, but for snuff sex. So that's like you killed somebody. What the fuck? And yeah, as I said a while back, they actually banned the book, took it off the market, but we had the Island of Little Boys. So yeah, very, very, very sad. And they also, they don't want people to know their stuff. I mean, it's come out now that with their beautiful paintings and things, but they were so angry when people were selling them because it's sacred. It's not just pictures, but all art is sacred, and that's how we should work with our art. No, not I don't do Andy Warhol. And, no. I used to. I actually had a bar called Warhol's. So I've done quite a deep dive with his work and his stuff, and then later on I found out stuff about him. But we can talk about that another time. I called my place the factory. Yeah, you know, it's kind of like Success Leaves Clues, but he was anyway. Let's not go there for right now. He abused a lot of the indigenous magic. So let us go here and let's. Oh, I was doing Ho'oponopono prayer. So I did mention a little while ago that we should. It's like so overwhelming for me at the time, and I really do need to post it on thingy. It's the Ho'oponopono. No. But you know what I'm talking about. It's actually Hawaiian. I've forgotten that it was Hawaiian. And it's just like really simple, and it just reads a kind of reconciliation and forgiveness, because pretty much if your skin is white, you've somewhere not getting really rude. Everybody should do the Ho'oponopono prayer, not just for ourselves, maybe for our ancestors. You don't have to dwell in it, you don't have to flagellate yourself, but I think it will be such a beautiful purification process for planet and for the peoples, yeah. And it will just create beautiful bridge. And it's a private thing, I always like to say, between me and my God. Yeah. So it's really, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you can do it to yourself, you can do it for anybody, but I'm just like offering it right now for the ancestors, because most of us don't live on our own land. It was horribly removed. So I'm sure there will be tears. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And these people are all very forgiving, eh? And we want to keep it that way. So an extended is Father, Mother, Divine Creator. I like to say Holy Mother, Holy Father. Divine Mother is Mother Earth, Divine Creator. Father, Mother, child is one. If I, my family, relatives, or ancestors have offended you, your family, relatives, or ancestors, in thoughts, words, deeds, or actions, from the beginning of our creation to the present, we ask your forgiveness. Let this cleanse, purify, release, and cut all the negative memories, blocks, energies, and vibrations, and transmute these unwanted energies to pure light. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. Peace be with you. All is forgiven, all is released, and the light of love is restored. Oh, thanks, Grace. I must try. There are going to be a lot of movies coming out like that. And I just strongly suggest that you do this so that you're strong enough when people, because it's going to affect a lot of people, because people don't know, and it's like been horrible, you know, more horrible than you can even vaguely begin to think of imagining. Yeah. And the saddest thing is, of course, that they keep wanting to cover it up more and more, but it's not going to happen. So that's why we need light, and we need to know, just we don't need to get stuck in it. Yeah. They said inside, because I did like a very deep when I was there, and not now because I'm not there. But they said they would make it so complicated that nobody would ever find out what really happened. But yeah, I just sucked away at it. And it is so that, if you destroy people, not just Africa, all of them, if you destroy their gods, well, not gods, they don't really, you destroy their artwork, you destroy their religion, you destroy their rituals, they start to forget, and they're lost people. Almost, they did a very good job, because a lot of African stuff is just like legends, even to them, myths, because it's got so far removed. And then, of course, the diseducating them, not educate. And they were so brilliant, all of them. They were really brilliant mathematicians. All they it's like, and we see, but we just we kind of laughed at it. Like, they'll make a plan. They'll figure something out. And we get but anyway, so let's just, South Africa, they really, and I have all this in paperwork, how they dumbed them down, and how they dumbed when we had 1994, when apartheid was officially over, and they changed the syllabuses in the universities. But very difficult, because they were not allowed to be educated. And that was also part of the problem with the ANC. Not all of them. Some were educated very, very beautifully in Sweden and other places, but mainly Sweden. But a lot of these people literally came out of a shanty hut, a shanty house, and then into Parliament. Anyway, so I mean, kudos. They are serious, and of course the propaganda that we get of all over Africa, that it's backward and they're thriving cities, and of course the propaganda with the Chinese. What the Chinese did, I mean, when I was still, before I'd had like this huge awakening to this stuff, I would like just look and watch the news sometimes, South African stuff, what was happening. And most people were not aware of it, but I would just say, my God, they're just like giving the minds away. Like China is just like owning so many of South Africa's mines. But hey, they've got good mining practice, so they're sending a lot. They're really working, and then they started what was called the Belt and Road Initiative. So they don't charge them interest, and they're building roads and railway lines all the way through Africa, and especially from Central Africa, as to be accessible to the sea. Of course, the West is just complaining and demoralizing and blah, 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 blah. I mean, obviously, there's some bits of truth in it, but they've also started, like in Nigeria, huge. It started coming out, and I had like this whole huge stack of collection of, what is it called? China Today. I don't know. I can't remember now. The Chinese newspaper, which came out in English, and it was just so sweet because I know that I would feed them. I'd go down to like Chinatown because I didn't realize it at the time. It was, oh God, I Mr. Ching Chong Ching. I was shouting at him, "Don't you hurt my little people. They're not doing anything wrong. It's me. I'm feeding them all this stuff. I bring them way too much stuff. I'm bringing people here to shop. Don't you just leave them. They're not into anything wrong." Because I know some kind of Chinese etiquette. Yeah. He asked me if I like McDonald's. I said no, but the people like it. I like music. Yeah. Anyway, people didn't like me in South Africa because I ran around teaching everybody. Oh, well, whatever. That's really ugly. But it's finishing, it's like, and that's what I'm just saying, it's the purification, and it's layers and layers and layers of coming off right now again, and especially with this 3-eye atlas. And whatever it, and even if it's absolutely nothing, it's just even this, the energy that people are like pouring onto the earth and their thought forms about it. So just that alone is doing a shift, and obviously whatever it's doing, if you want to go there, is doing a beautiful shift. Thanks. I will look up that movie. Yeah. Okay, so now we move just quickly into Veda. They don't like the Pleiades. It's not a very good place for them. And I'd like to hear them, listen to all of them, and everybody's got their thing, and thank God the Hopi are playing with the Pleiades, and it doesn't matter, okay? But it's like, we were doing this a while ago when we were doing Chamundai. Vichi. I'm Chamundai Vichi. Chamundai is, if you think like Kali looks ugly, Kali's weird, well, she's like really nasty. She is like seriously nasty. So the Pleiades for the, let's see, I'm not reading this here. Are there seven? Well, they are the seven divine mothers who actually brought up Kritikaya, what's his name? Kartikeya, who's actually Ganesha's brother, who is the god of war. But along with war, I'm not looking here, I'm just going off the top of my head here. But along with war come famine and poverty and disease. So that's in a way what the Pleiadian, the divine mothers, stand for. That's the one aspect of them. They're very realistic, you know? Like in the Kama Sutra, they made lipstick. This is not all about sex, that's just one little part of it. It's about lipstick and perfume and pretty clothes and handbags. So they're a sacred cluster of seven divine mothers who play a central role in both astronomy and mythology. Their meaning in the Vedic world is both celestial and deeply spiritual, embodying fire, nurturing, and divine feminine power. Oh, they've got these weird names. They are known as the cutters, or the ones who cleanse or purify. Did you hear this somewhere else? Oh, yeah. Referring to their fiery energy that burns away impurity and ignorance. They form one of the 27 nakshatra, the lunar constellations of Vedic astrology. Oh, every day, one day there's a rest. Yeah, astrology, and are situated in the sign of Aries, extending slightly into Taurus. Their ruler is Agni, who is the god of sacred fire, and their symbol is a flame or a blade, representing the purifying and awakening nature of divine energy. The seven mothers are seven celestial mothers, sometimes equated with the wives of the seven rishis. Oh, those are the immortals. Those are the guys that didn't die and they hold like very divine. What's his name? I'll get it just now. I can see it in my head. He's holding this energy right now. He's one of the rishis. I'll get it just now. And are connected with the birth of Kartikeya or Skanda. That is, as I said, he's the god of war. As I said, Ganesha holds pretty much everything except war. That's his brother. But his brother also holds a lot of honor and intelligence. The divine warrior, son of Shiva and Parvati. Their names are cute. Alambusha, Chuptunika, Vasayanti, Mighrayanti, Abrayanti, Nayana, and Siva. It's always nice. I mean, I would love to actually learn Sanskrit because they mean something, and then the names are not strange. They're not just like sounds, you know. They actually mean things. So each, yeah, here we go, represents a fiery aspect of creation, nourishing and protecting the divine child Skanda, who was born from the seed of Shiva, carried by Agni, fire, and placed in the waters of the Ganges. The seven mothers, Kritikas, then nursed and raised the child, giving him his name Kartikeya, the one raised by the Kritikes. The Pleiadians in Vedic, so I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that war's not so nice, so they have this like weird thing. Divine motherhood of nurturing, protecting, and fiery loving, fiercely loving. The sacred fire of purification, birth, and transformation. The link between heaven and earth, carrying the flame of spiritual knowledge, initiation, the awakening of higher consciousness through purification. None of those, these are things that we want to really do and pass through and not do again and again and again. This cluster represents cosmic nourishment and renewal, where the divine feminine energy, the Shakti, births and sustains life across universes. Kartikeya, the son of the stars. In the myth where Shiva's divine seed was placed in the Ganges, it became 6 sparks, each nurtured by one of the 6 Kritikas. Later, Parvati united them into one child with 6 faces, Shanmukha. Each face represents a direction of awareness and a mother who nursed him. Thus, the Kritikas became the celestial foster mothers of divine will and courage, and Skanda became the commander of the celestial army, symbolizing spiritual victory over ignorance. So they are ruled, the Pleiades are ruled by the sun. It represents illumination, purification, courage, and clarity. Souls born under this nakshatra often carry a mission to cleanse, lead, and awaken truth. The Kritika energies balance feminine nurturing with fiery strength, the power to both love and to transform. Just as the Greeks saw the Pleiades as the 7 daughters of Atlas, the Vedic seers saw them as 7 celestial mothers, both lineages pointing to the same sacred truth. The feminine principle gives birth to the cosmic fire of consciousness, which is light arising from love. Yeah. So yeah, so it gets a bit more complex, and then we'll get to very quickly, because you've got to hear how fucked up this stuff is. Sorry, excuse my blessed language. Compared to these, okay. Why have I not got it? Why have I not got it? Why have I not got it? Okay. So I remember that on what was done to them. I remember that. That apology. I remember that. And it's only really now that Africa is starting to come through. It's still been a puppet for all this time. I was in the 80s. I was just thinking, because that was when Ian Smith, when did he leave with Robert Mugabe? Yeah. So definitely the wise ones. It was so interesting. Somebody wrote somewhere in one of them, it was in Truthwave, they wrote the ancient sites, and instead of writing it as SITES, they wrote it as SIGHTS, which is the ancient way of seeing. I thought that was just so fabulous. So it's putting new eyes on now, and the eyes to see through the eyes of love and compassion and understanding. And we would say in South Africa it would take generations, and it's very hard. I know a few people that have worked with African street children there. Oh God, it's almost too late to actually change them, and there's a lot. So. But we won't get into a lot of that sadness. And South Africa, the only thing is that I know that there's been such an influx. Obviously, there's they're coming down and raping and draining the country, and it is in a way really sad because very little is going to the local people. They're just watching this. The Zulus are just watching everybody making money out of their country. But a lot have also come down on a spiritual mission to South Africa. And when, just to set South Africa free, because it's still not free. And, when you speak to people, it's like always where you're from. We just say, oh, one black person looks like another. But almost everyone in South Africa that you speak to, that you ask where you're from, you can spend a morning and go through 7 countries. Yeah. And a lot of very educated people, artists, photographers, teachers, and they'll tell me that they have poverty in their country, but nothing like what they're seeing in the towns here. Nothing. They're horrified what's happened to, unless the world thinks it's great and wonderful. Anyway, they'll get there. They did chase me out hard, and that's okay. I'm still bouncing. Okay, so let's go to this crazy story here, because I think it's crazy. Atlas, where is it here? 7 daughters. There's 8 there. Here we go. They got interesting names as well. And it was so weird. As a kid, I was really, really interested in Greek mythology. Whoops. And I was really, because in Germany here, my father had done he'd learned that at school. And we didn't learn anything like that at school. But it's so complicated. I mean, give me this Nomo stuff. It's so much easier. Or the Hopi stuff. It's really simple. I mean, it's it's a little complicated, but it's not really. This now. That's why my feeling right now is really got messed up with the Greeks. The Pleiades. Atlas and his daughter, the Pleiades, one of the most luminous myths in most Greek and cosmic tradition, bridging heaven and earth, sorrow and immortality, divine punishment and celestial grace. This is the same story again. Eh? We're doing purification, forgiveness, newness. Let's see where we go. Atlas. Atlas was a giant. So this is when giants walked the earth. And I did a thing on the stories of Gaia, and it's just, for me, when I read these things and I go through them, and then there's so much incest. But I think this was the time of the giants. This is what they talk about in the beginning of the Bible, where they came and saw the sons of man. However, whether it was splicing of DNA or test tube babies or whatever they were doing. Atlas was one of the giants, okay, one of the children of Gaia. And I also Do I really want to call her Gaia? But that's my personal stuff because she's like also a little weird. Who is the earth and Uranus is the sky. During the great war between the Titans and the Olympians, the Tautomarchy, Atlas sided with Kronos against Zeus. When the Titans fell, Zeus punished Atlas with a task, both eternal and symbolic, to hold up the heavens upon his shoulders forever, separating earth from sky. This burden was not only physical but spiritual. He became the axis of heaven, the pillar of consciousness, linking the mortal and divine realms. In later mystery traditions, Atlas is of cosmic wisdom, standing at the western edge of the world where day meets night and the known meets the unknown. The 7 daughters of Atlas, the Pleiades. Atlas was the father of 7 radiant daughters, born of Cleone, a sea nymph. It's like a mermaid. Nomos, of grace and light. Their names, forever etched among the stars, are Maia, the eldest and most beautiful, mother of Hermes by Zeus. Electra, associated with Troy, whose grief dimmed one of the stars. Taygete, a huntress, loved by Zeus, who transformed her into a doe. Alcyone, who married Ceyx, and together they were turned into kingfishers. Celaeno, the Dark One, mysterious and veiled in shadow. Sterope, whose name means lightning, radiant and quick. And Merope, the mortal one, who married the human Sisyphus, not syphilis, Sisyphus, and whose star shines faintly out of shame for her mortal love. When their father Atlas was condemned to bear the heavens, his daughters were left unprotected. The giant hunter Orion pursued them relentlessly across the earth. In their fear and grief, the sisters prayed for deliverance, and Zeus, moved by compassion, transformed them into stars, lifting them to the heavens. They became the Pleiades, also called the 7 sisters, shining as a cluster in the shoulder of Taurus, the bull, forever just ahead of Orion, who still chases them across the night sky. This is being very politically correct and kiddie friendly, but in the Greek tradition, there's just so much rape and incest. I mean, maybe it's just the real stuff that's like the world and the Oedipus complex and the Narcissian. It is great. I also loved it, but it's like when you read the other stuff that's kind of really simple and fabulous and easy to understand and not so incestuous and not so much like debauchery going on. It's I say it's like or just it's like awakening and remembering and different things. I also loved it. I also thought it was absolute the best thing ever. But and Greek was very holy, and it was the Omphalos. Delphi was the Omphalos, the navel of the world, and but I'm not sure what happened. It's just something I just stuck as my own little journey that I want to know. I just keep hacking away at it. But I just find it's like, for me, it's like such a complicated story. And then they would like steal this one's wife and rape that one's daughter, and that father would have children with his. And I mean, it's the same as the Abrahamic stuff. they also like always raping people. I mean, I'm sure there must have been some problem in the African stuff as well, but I think they have different laws, eh? No, they have different laws. I remember a lady was knocking on my door when my daughter was small, and she wasn't naked, but she was kind of half naked and running around the front garden playing with water. And she came just banging on my door, and she said to me, "Take your daughter inside, put her in the back garden." She said, "She's a girl. We don't do that. Our boys, they can run around naked all over the place, but we don't let our little girls run around naked." So it was like, okay, it makes sense to me in a way. I mean, there's terrible things that happen now in Africa where there's like really like what they do to little children, thinking that they'll get rid of AIDS, but it's because they've lost. They've been so diseducated and so far removed from what they should have, what their culture. You know, some have become really, really like cruel and unkind and heartless. But we've got a nice name for them. We call them mercenaries if they're white, and they get paid for being cold and heartless. But anyway, we don't want to do that. So we want to say the Opotopotopo no 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 prayer as fast and quickly and as often as we can with divine love and consciousness, and just move the energy of the planet on, because we're all guilty, every single one of us. I think it says that somewhere in the good book. Mm. So, okay. Atlantis represents the axis mundi, the cosmic pillar or bridge between heaven and earth. So just remember, we've got Atlas running around, moving around. Why they call it Atlas? I think it's interesting, Sometimes these people do think about these things very clearly, and not one, not two, but three are very carefully chosen. For me, it's just like, okay, who was Atlas? And then direct me off to the Pleiades, and then direct me off somewhere else to the Hopi, and then direct me back to my Momo, and then I know about the Vedic girls. So it's just bringing, for me, attention to the Pleiades hugely, even though Atlas is not from this comet, whatever this ship is not from, it's from this way far away. But these are just connecting the dots and an awakening thing again, and the story of what they're trying to say. And many people going into retreat right now, into deep, deep, deep meditation for the planet. We've got Halloween coming up right now, which is always Samhain. It's always a very open portal. In Germany, we move into November, which is the month of the dead. So it's kind of nice that they acknowledge the ancestors and people that have passed. They don't call it ancestors, they just sort of acknowledge the dead. So it's quite a very sacred month. It's where I stay here. They do, all the shops are closed on Sunday over the weekend because people must have the chance to pray. And it's kind of nice because you're remembering all that, and then you get the celebrations of Easter. But then we have 11/11, which is like in Germany also 11/11 is just always huge, and it's 40 days from 11/11 to the winter solstice, which is going to be, I don't know what's going to happen, but I strongly, if you just hear those numbers and those times, those are big, 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 big portals. And we've had such a big year of huge portals opening, so follow yourself to do what you need to do. And if you don't do it, don't beat yourself up. Just pick up and fly again. You know? Oh, I don't know. I've just like recently, like the Greek myths. It's just the way I've been thinking for now. So, because I'm trying to find out where things went kind of skewball. So sometimes if you know where things went a little bit skewball, you can actually rectify them and bring in more grace. Oh, it does. And that's thanks for that. Yeah, it does. And that's really what's just out of all of this is really what's important for us simpletons here, is just breathing that beautiful channel up and down our spine, creating that beautiful pipe of purity and cleanliness, of purity and cleanliness, awakening the chakras. You don't have to really even focus on them. Walking with consciousness, changing our posture, working with, but with the more conscious we are, talking to the trees. You don't have to just spend, look at you now, so spend a little bit of time in nature. When you make a fire, give a little sweetness to the fire. It's not just wood burning. We're the ones that have lost that, We've lost so much. I was seeing one of the basic was at the what are they, the Benin, the blacksmiths, the keepers that melt metal. I mean, they were melting metal long before Europe was doing anything like that. They were creating. But they are very, very sacred people, and all the work they do is done in honor. When they light their fire, it's to the fire god. We get excited because we see salamanders in the fire. But this is very, very sacred. Different cultures, different tribes, like the Zulu, it's very unlucky for a man to be behind the kitchen, behind the pot. They don't cook. But slightly different ones all over, and that's okay. What of this one? Are you on Discord? Because I can post it on Discord. But yeah, and it's just to each and every one of us to be our own tree of life. You can get into the Kabbalistic stuff. I don't know it. It's very big. I never went down that road. Madonna's like big on that. She's been doing it for 30 odd years. I love Madonna, always have. I think when she brought out that book of In Bed with Madonna, I was working in a bookshop, then I was working at Exclusive Books, and it was sealed, so we couldn't really look at it, but obviously we could. And I just thought, this woman's amazing. She's actually giving them before they get her. So, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be totally outrageous. I'm going to be, before you actually dig up any dirt on me, I will dig up and give you extra dirt. She's amazing. She's truly amazing. Oh, she's always been. Don't like her music. Didn't like her music particularly. I'm on a good to-do list. Did I put? Can you see if you can do a screenshot? Let me put it up there again. That one. Here we go. Yeah. But it's like I love that other one where it was like made up into the flower of life. But yeah, so it's like hugely this blue energy. So just it's so all these stories, they're all great. They all have truth in them. But don't get stuck in the stories, because you are the story and you have to create your own story and your own light right now. And call on the lights. It's like interesting times. Very interesting times. And it's time now. So it's just yeah. Time to purify, however you want to purify yourselves. You know, it's not for me to say. For some people, it's, stop eating meat. For some, it's like to do more meditation. For some, it's to start gym. Um, we all have our different, whichever one we wanting to do. But just, follow through. Try to follow through. Because the energy of this planet is big. And I mean, I don't want to like go into this Atlas stuff too much. You can figure out and find yourself. I've tried to give you something balanced. I hope a little bit of like simplicity. I like simplicity. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And the names, of course, are all just wonderful. And I did um, yeah, so yeah, just Atlas, whichever way you want to take it, sometimes also as grassroots, is giving us a plan, and we need to listen to that plan. It's a map, it's an atlas, it's a map. Just think about that word, like, of on the simplest way, and like as deep and esoteric and mystical and sublime and ridiculous as you want to take it. And then come back to simplicity. But it's definitely the energies are changing. Humanity will not be the same next year, that's for sure. Whether it's Atlas or AI, it doesn't really, it's changing quickly. I mean, this is just the cell. This is like next year. I was so excited when I heard this. They've fed in the language, crow sounds. Crows are amazing. And they fed a whole lot of crow sounds into AI, and it's actually interpreted it. They've like starting to figure out the language of crows, like hieroglyphics. Like soon we'll have a crow dictionary, and then we'll have a lion dictionary, and what they think about us, and how they talk to each other, and how they communicate, and what they think of the people that are like wandering around, and they communicate, they talk about the people as they're coming down the road. Oh, no, just I don't. I really don't. Thanks. It's the best way to be. No. But as I said, it's like that energy is out there, so it doesn't matter whether we listen to whatever we believe, if it is what it isn't, what it is, what it that. Um, yeah, and the computers have been like completely weird, really like interference. Um, um, I'm hearing a lot because I've really felt this was like talking to me. Just that I needed to like work with it a little bit, and I feel like an immense amount of love, an immense amount of change. But all of the stuff that I'm sharing with you now is that it's that calling, that purification, and yes, that angriness. For me, that's like, guys, you know, everybody's into this. worshipping Egypt and this and that and what a fish paste and just you've got the Hopi and the Indian right on your doorstep, or you've got the Maoris on your doorstep. Go and figure out what they've been saying. Grace, please tell us what their stuff is, because I'm guarantee they've got something going on right now. They don't talk. They're not telling us everything because it'll just then they've figured white man stuff. Okay, and then oh yes, yeah, that's what it is. And then we must ask Josh to give you an invitation, and then you can just link in. Yeah. I just know quite a while ago, we were giggling. I had that very sore knee, and PG had a very sore neck. And he said to me, "Well, what do you think of Atlas or something?" Well, I said, I don't know. Like really not even going there right now. Just trying to be neutral. Obviously, it's something. I think, but like between the two of us, we're doing Atlas. I've got my sore knee, and you've got the sore neck. So, really a true word, sometimes said in jest. Oh, I did the numerology of it. But yeah, so it was also like you're creating a new roadmap. Yay! Victor, I'm about to go, but so lovely for you to pass by. Oh, yeah, sorry, I was just zipped in. I've been on for a long time, actually, considering I was just going to pop in. But so beautiful to have you here, Victor, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was really like talking big time about the blue light, like just like immaterial of the Hopi and the Nomo and Atlas and wherever it's coming from and the Pleiades and all of that. It's about the blue light. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And this has been the problem there with Africa is that the white men had guns. Now the white men's got diseases, but all over. They brought smallpox all over the place, and they're bloody filthy lot. The Europeans are fucking filthy. So we've got a lot of like blue energy. So we're gonna have a lot of blue energy. We just like embrace that holy blue energy. It's simple. The blue beings, forgiveness. Forgive yourself. That's the most important. The biggest thing that you can do is to forgive yourself and to love yourself, but they kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. Just keep it simple. Yeah, I went on a bit later. Yeah, I went on I don't know. We've got time change here, so I went on at six. It's yeah. I don't like this because everybody changes at a different time. So I can't figure it out. It's like because then it's only for like 2 weeks and then it changes back again. There. Okay, so I did do the numerology of 3i Atlas, which was just what we've been speaking about, just connecting with yourself, sitting just you and your God, just like this is me. As my mother would say, I think some of our mothers, warts and all. This is the shit I've created in my life. Have a really long purification talk and then move on. Oh, are we sleeping? Sleeping. I'm pushing. I'm just like decided I'm going to push over that sleep. And I've had those kids. Oh my goodness. Oh, I've been exhausted and stressed. Yesterday was very stressful. Just like 10 days of rambunctious boys. Angela, you still need my love. Yeah. Yeah, and then go and create, and then just like flush yourself. We've got such an awesome place to be in. Every day, twice a day, we can get rid of our poop. We can get so much beautiful energy. Just do it. Such beautiful. So, okay. The yes, Victor, thank you for the blue energy hugely. Yeah. So, Atlas. The inner, this is this numerology I do is Pythagorean numerology, which I've been doing for many years, and works really well. Always did my clients' homes and things, and then things. I love this stuff. It's actually spot on. Anyway, but the inner number is 2, which is working with our inner harmony with ourselves. Just interacting ourselves with our higher self. We want to call it male and female energies, yes, all of that stuff. But just simply and sweetly is having a sweet relationship with yourself. Learning to love yourself, learning to like yourself. And the only way you're really going to do it is to say, this is the shit I have in my life. This is how crappy my life is. This is what I don't like. What am I going to do about it? I'm sorry. Do the Ho'oponopono prayer. It's like if it's a big purification, great. If it's just sanding off some of the edges, great. But have that good heart to heart talk with yourself. And then spend a little bit of moment and think, what do you want? We don't have much time to keep changing around right now, because as we are creating a map, an atlas for our future. Not just 1 year, it's like a 7-year plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan. So don't rush, but rush. So the inner is this relationship, whichever way you want to see it, it's our number 2. And the outer number of Atlas, what we show in the world. So the inner is the inner. You don't have to share it with too many people. It's your inner sacred space. It's my good old words between you and your God, whoever your God is, me and my God. A quiet space, tuning in, connecting to Father Sky and Mother Earth, and you are the candle in between, the conduit. And we need you to explode. No, don't explode, just like get bigger and brighter. The outer is an 8, which we are in the year, is it an 8 here? No, that was, I don't know, I've forgotten. I know we're in the year of the snake. I don't know, I'm lost. My head is blocked up and my nose is blocked up. So my brain is like swimming around in slime. Oh, that's delightful. The outer is 8, which means hard work, but it's also infinity. And it encompasses all those things. So you've got it all. So choose. Just like for now, maybe stick on just like 2 or 3 things that you want in your life. You can add the rest because they are your right to have them all. But maybe you want a relationship, maybe you want finances, maybe you want better family relationships. Maybe you want business, maybe you want children, maybe you want to grow a business, maybe you want more recognition, you want recognition for what you do. Some people, money is okay. So just choose 3 things that you want for now. I am going to have to start doing the feng shui again soon, because I think it's time people will this, understand it on another level as well. And remember, it takes hard work and it takes discipline. That's why the Chinese love 8. And it's also the number of infinity, and it's getting into the still point. So it's being still so that you're getting into your meditation, for lack of a better word, so that you can go out into the world, so that you can maintain that still point. And it really does work. I mean, it's like I've like been with the kids being here, those like crazy ones. First, I would just like, Yuki and I would just pass out. Wake up for truth wave. And then I thought, no, I'm not doing that. I'm done with this pass out. I think it is it's a 9 year. Last year was the 8th dragon. I think it is now because we're moving into new beginnings. So yet again, it's the purification. It's fire. Yeah. Nice. So it's, I don't know, what is it? I can't remember. It's a wood snake. I think it's a wood snake, which is growth and new beginnings, new creativity. And then I've just got to keep reminding myself, and I remind us every now and again when some of this poop hits the fan, is don't forget it is the year of the snake. Yeah. So I mean, I had great stuff happen to my spiritual being when I exfoliated my body. I didn't, I told you I didn't even think about it. I just did it. It was just like a spontaneous thing. And I just scrubbed. And I thought, whoa. Because remember, we absorb everything through our skin as well. And then I thought, oh, yeah, of course, it's the year of the snake. I do forget. I forget a lot of things. But it's okay. Yeah, it's a wood snake. Yeah. So, but yeah, working with Atlas. Atlas is an 8. So it is all the areas, knowledge, learning. So as I say, just choose if you're doing that. What I want for my future self is just choose a few. Don't overwhelm yourself right now with all the 8+1 areas, which is not 9. It's 8+1. We're very clear about that. So we're working with the sacred octagon always, and we can go on and on and on about that. So those are all those from the magic to the ancestors. It's all contained in the 8 and the sacred. The Mobius strip. Yeah. So what are they together? What you're creating is a whole new beginning, which is a 10. And for me, it's always with God's protection, one with God's protection, going forward into a new way. Yeah. And then the 3i, the way that I did it, because that's how I like to just play around, comes to a 33, which is the Christ consciousness. I know it's terrible. The act was skunking out. I had the work because I know I got in late. I was cleaning the leaves downstairs, and I thought, oh, it'll take me 15 minutes. It took me 45 minutes, and I was like, oh, that's a lot of leaves. And they're on the steps, so it's like, not all, but some. And when I was doing a truth wave, I don't think I've ever had such a long truth wave in my life. I really just kept passing out and going far away, but being awake, it was like the strangest, interesting sensation. And then I'd kind of come back and I'd just feel like I'd got away for like half an hour, and then it would happen again. It's like, but it couldn't have been. It was like, it was amazing. It was really amazing. I haven't had that kind of lose the body and the brain and everything for not quite that feeling. But everything's like new. I mean, when we make a bubble, For a while now, it's completely different. In Truthwave, when I make the bubble, I mean, when I put a bubble around myself, that whole energy is changed. It's on something else. So I'm not working with the same energy that I was for a long time. And I must tell you, it's quite difficult right now, but I really like chisel through a little bit to get through to this energy. But I'm just like, I'm pushing. But anyway, that's my stuff. I'm like, I know what I want. Not everything's always surprises, but it's taken a long time. I want that. That's what I want. And it's taken a lot of forgiveness because I've like held stuff. And that's it. I've held stuff that really is not mine. Like it's absolutely not my stuff. It's not what I've done. Self-flagellation. Anyway, so the 33 is the Christ consciousness and the Christ energy that is just on the planet. It's the Buddha, the clear crystal Buddha mind. It's like nature spirits, whichever one you want to see it. It's just like reverence. It's holding your breath in that sacred space, in that pause. So Christ consciousness has got nothing to do with Jesus. First he was Jesus and then he became the Christ. Maybe that makes help for somebody. No. I know. Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely things are changing. Today, where was it today? No, it was last night. It was last night. I did something different also, and that was so interesting. But it was just smells. I always trust smells. Yeah, I know they can't mess around. It was so, and it was so much sunshine. There's just so much sunshine, but there's no sunshine, and that's okay. So that was my little bit for now on 3-hour Atlas, who's going to pop out. So she's he, she, it, they, them, whatever it is really like pouring a lot of amplifying the energy from behind the sun right now. So don't resist it. There's some really simple, beautiful things you can do. Sit by the river, just let it go. We're still in purification. And a little while ago, we got a whole nother revamp of the violet flame. The violet, so just like that whole violet flame is really taking us in for the next 1,000 years or so. So, and it's the one that's going to be around the planet. So the more that we push it around the planet in our own space, the more that we work with it as often as we can. And you can just do it in a couple of seconds. You can do a 20-minute meditation. You can do a quick breathe of violet. You can see it. I don't know, however you do it. But don't forget about it. Yeah. Okay. Victor's losing it. Victor's like spaced out completely. Oh, Laura, I want to must go now. I can't breathe anymore. But thank you for being here. Here it's 9 o'clock already. I've been on for 3 hours. That's insane. That's crazy. Oh, I can just feel that beautiful energy where Laura lives on the lake. Her own lake. I've got a lake, but it's not my lake. So beautiful people, beautiful, beautiful family. I'm not sure if I'll be on tomorrow. Who knows what I'll do tomorrow. But enjoy whatever energy. I hope what we went through was a little bit helpful for you. And, you know, at the same time, I'm really seriously unpicking this European shit, Germany. Oh, God. I'm just trying to be simple. Okay, so I love you lots. Go and play with the Hopi. Go and play with the Nomos. Go and play with the Ancients. Oh, I love you too, Miss Laura. Thank you for sharing so much. And Angela, thank you. Oh, would have loved some. But anyway, you'll sing. You will get your sing. I was watching an old one, like an old one. So really appreciate your beautiful voice. I didn't see Trista today. I think she was on the bus. No, she wasn't on the bus. So Victor, thank you. Grace, thank you so much for being here. I'm almost sorry, but I really do need to go now. But I will just quickly flash the Nomo because they've all got the same stories. And we're working hugely with this Atlantis energy right now again. Because of so much like technology and science coming out, but I just we have to keep it in balance, yeah. So more love that we can just shower, and sometimes it's kind of quite pathetic, but that's all we got, guys. That's our biggest weapon, or really, it's our only weapon. Yeah, yeah. Let's try and reason all of this stuff through. It's me dancing, playing stars. Okay. Yeah. As I said, the Indians see this, the Pleiades, like a little differently. Okay. I'll post that on Thingamajiggy. I'm sure they're 8, but I can't. Dear old blessed Atlas. Remember, he holds the cosmos, not the thing. Time is going all weird. He's going to have a job, yeah, quite soon. Where are my guys? Where are those guys? Oh, there they are. Grace, you wanted that one. I'll post that. I'll send it to you. It's beautiful. I think that's the one you want. And those are the Mali dancers, the Dogon dancers. And this is the Pleiades from the Hopi. In the 4 worlds. We're moving into the 5 worlds. So as I said, best don't lose too much time down there, and I don't think they're rabbit holes at the moment. They're just all like over flooding. So they look all kind of so similar, don't they? I think other tribes are obviously holding a lot, but these two have really been holding a lot, and obviously the Maoris. Sadly, a lot of them have forgotten. I mean, there's a whole lot of like lostish tribes in the mountains. So no, lots are holding lots. Lots are holding lots. Yeah. But don't read too much into it because they haven't told you the whole story either. Don't forget. Okay, beloveds, we shall see you. Hop, 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 hoppy. Oh, Laura, you're also a nun. Wow. Oh, beautiful. Please, please, please. Singing bowls. Pour them through. Yeah, the purple. Please connect as much as you can with the purple. Like when you play your bowls. I've got a brass bowl, so that's kind of gold. So here, got your. if you can, it's, you know, it's nothing in this going to. I've been putting a lot of purple, but it's just like where I'm at right now. So thank you, everybody. Looking forward. Yeah, Atlantis. I don't like Atlantis. I did like really intense meditation quite a while ago with some people from like Damanhur who had traveled to Atlantis. It was like really interesting, that place. And it was like a few day meditation with it, and people, oh, this or this. And he'd actually traveled, he's no longer with us, but he traveled with an artist friend of his. They teleported, and he came back, the two, because they couldn't take a camera with them. And they came back and drew pictures of it. There's like of Atlantis. It's really, I'll see if I maybe find them and post them one day. I'm going to love. I know. My nose is blocked up. Summer clothes, Grace. Summer clothes. Oh. Yeah, we will talk again. Summer clothes. Oh, so many pretty purple and purple and stars. Okay, my lovelies, go and purple and stars all over your life. Beautiful energies, beautiful changes. What a place to be alive. Okay, my lovelies. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and we'll see you. We'll see you in a wave. Bye bye.